Okay, now that you have your shooting and editing techniques down, we're moving ahead with actual news pieces that you're going to put together and you could actually publish somewhere. This week's assignment will be for you to shoot and edit the unique news feature that you've set up. Once you've shot it, you're going to be submitting the final project as two separate projects. One will be as a natural sound piece and one will be as a social media piece. So let's review the difference. Okay, so remember in the natural sound example from last week, remember this
Second
piece?
Doublecast was something that came
And you
out
saw
of
that
our
there was
auditioning
at least
process.
one
What we
person
were really concerned
interviewed.
about was we didn't want one kid to sing these big songs 10 times and potentially damage their vocal cords. And we had such talent, we were able to say, we can have two Shreks, we can have two Fionas.
And in the social media example, you saw the story was told mostly with video.
We discovered that 76%
There was one
of us
soundbite.
know a child that's been affected by violence.
It was transcribed,
and/or sexual violence.
but the story was told mostly with titles that were placed boldly on the screen with different colors and different sizes. And then there was a music bed underneath. Now, even though there are two projects that you're going to post, I just want you to keep in mind there is only one set of material that you will shoot. You're going to use the same material for both projects. So this is how I'd like you to approach the assignment when you're just getting started. Set up the interview, agree on a time for the interview, agree on a time to pick up the equipment with me. And when you go and do the interview and shoot the video, I want you to start with the interview. So do the interview before you shoot the video, and I'll explain why in a minute. So when you set up the interview and you start asking questions, you're going to want to keep the questions focused on what's making this particular thing unique. Obviously, you're going to want to ask background questions as well, but you want to know what's special about this group or activity or whatever you're doing, and have them explain that in words. While you are conducting the interview, I want you to be sure to be listening to what the person is saying. Okay? Not just asking questions, but listening to what they're saying and what they're talking about. And while they're talking, kind of say to yourself in your back of your head, oh, they talked about that. I'll have to make sure to get some shots of that after I'm done with the interview. Okay? After you're done with the interview, then go ahead and start shooting all the things that they were talking about. Now, what will be the difference between the two pieces once they're done? Well, in the Nat Sound piece, you're going to try to cover most of the interview clips with video. And then the social media piece, you're going to have video that you lay out, but you're going to cover most of those video pieces with titles. Okay? So make sure whatever you're shooting that you shoot a lot of video. And please make sure that the video is corresponding to what the person that you interviewed is talking about. So here's a step-by-step way that you could go ahead and do this project. You find the person you want to interview. Make sure the location that you want to interview is well lit and not in a noisy area. If it's noisy or not well lit, you want to take them someplace else. Set up the chairs and the camera while the person is not there. Make sure the audio is working right. Adjust the audio levels if you need to. Make sure that the video levels are right. Make sure it's not too bright or not too dark. Adjust the video levels if you need to. If you forgot how to do that, you can email me and ask. Make sure you frame only the interviewee during the interview, just the head and shoulder of the person that you're interviewing. You do not want to be in the shot at all. As a matter of fact, for this assignment, for both of these projects, you will not be in any of the shots. Your face won't be in it, your voice won't be in it, your questions won't be in it. Actually, nothing from you is going to be in the final edit. So that means do not shoot a stand-up, do not shoot a two-shot, do not shoot a reversal. Okay? For this assignment, none of those are needed. Now, while you're conducting the interview, make sure that you're listening, as I mentioned before. Remember that you want to have the visuals to match what he or she is saying. When you're asking questions, remember you'll need to ask at least 5 or 6 open-ended questions. So I recommend that you make your first question something like, what's your name and title and what's going on here? Or what's your name and title and how are you involved in what's going on here? Something like this could be used to begin your story if you want to open up your story with something like that. You don't have to, but at least you'll have it on tape so that you can go ahead and do that. The rest of your questions should lead them to talk a bit about their personal connection to this unique activity or event or thing. You might want them to explain in detail the why of what's going on and how of it, and you want them to get as detailed as possible and verbalize the images that might be involved in the activity. You want to do this so you could put your video over the words that they are using to describe those images. You also want them to give some personal perspectives about the event, the activity. Questions might start like, how do you feel about the? And those type of questions that ask how you feel oftentimes elicit some really good comments, and they also help you find something that might make a good conclusion, a good way to end your story. In general, though, the more questions you ask, the better. I say the very minimum will be 5 to 6 questions to make this work. I would like you to shoot at a minimum 10 sequences of those tight, medium, and wides, making sure that you count those full 6 seconds when you have a steady shot. Shoot plenty of moving shots as well. Okay, you want to overshoot this. You want to shoot so much that you say to yourself, I'll never be able to use all this video. Oftentimes you say that and you get back and you realize you don't even have enough. Okay, so overshoot. Shoot as many shots as you need to tell the whole story visually, the same story that the interviewee just shared with you in words. Okay? And make sure you have the audio working when you're shooting the B-roll, when you're shooting just the video, not the interview, because you're going to be using some of the sound from the B-roll in what we're calling a natural sound pop in the editing process. And I'm going to explain what I mean by natural sound pop as I take a look at how I want you to edit these pieces. So what I'd like you to do is start out the process by listening back to your whole interview. You can log it, remember what logging is, or if you just want to remember the highlights in your head, that's fine. And then what I'd like you to do is grab some of those sound bites from various parts of the interview and start building a story with those individual sound bites. So it would sound something like this.
Much help as possible. We have a news channel going on right now, but we are a little bit low on anchors, so if anyone would like to come volunteer, that would be a great help.
So I want you to build what we're calling the A-roll, all the sound first.
KOU is our
so that means putting all the sound down on your timeline, and you want to build a story with your A-roll, and the length requirements here will be 1 minute to 1 minute 30 long. That's the specific requirements for this assignment. Next, you want to insert what we're calling a natural sound pop. Actually, 1 or 2 of these. Now, what do we mean by natural sound pop?
Create segments for maybe our
The idea
channel,
is that you want to bring up your full natural sound in between some of your sound bites. And you do this to keep the viewer's attention.
Create segments for maybe our news channel, all that fun stuff.
It kind of wakes them up a bit, it keeps their attention, it draws them into the scene.
Because I like the time, because I don't have to put on 10 shows by myself and like break my back every day.
Wonder what I like about you, Shrek? You got the whole I don't care what anyone thinks of me thing going.
If you didn't know, the sides of the stage are called wings.
They see the uniform, the black belt, and they're like, oh wow, you're amazing. And we're like, no, I'm going to teach you some things that makes you amazing.
And go! Ah! And go! Ah!
You see all the other kids with different diseases.
Almost like
they
a
know
quick
someone
stop.
else who
Should
has
not last any longer than 3 seconds. Anywhere from 1 to 3 seconds is sufficient. You put the natural sound pop in both with the video and the audio. Now, once you have your A-roll edited, that means all of the interview parts have been edited into a consistent and flowing storyline. Then it's time to go back and start adding your B-roll. or the video that's going to match what the person is talking about. So some will ask, how much do I cover? Well, I don't have a specific amount. There aren't specific requirements. But I will ask you this. You will have to have the person's face up long enough that you can put the title. And if you're interviewing only one person, you only need to put their title up once. If you have sound bites from more than one person, you have to put their title up once you see them. I would like you to use video to cover as much of your clips as you can. You definitely have to cover every time there is a jump cut. Okay, I don't want to see any jump cuts in the final piece. If you can cover most of the story with appropriate video that matches what they're saying, that is good. Remember though, each B-roll clip that you lay down should last only around 3 or 4 seconds. It could be longer if there's moving video. Keep in mind for the natural sound piece, do not add music to this piece, but do keep natural sound from your B-roll under the person's sound. So let's take a look what I mean by that.
Hey, there's this rabbi, wanting to start a karate class for kids that have cancer.
So you see here there was just a little ambient noise, even though the main sound that we're hearing is the soundbite from the interviewee.
A karate class for kids that have cancer.
Okay, so you want to keep the natural sound volume low so it doesn't overpower what the interviewee is saying. And lastly, I would like you to make sure that you put in at least 2 to 3 video transitions, no more than that. Okay? And that is how to put together your natural sound piece. When you're done with that, I would like you to save it, as we learned how to save the projects, and render it, as we learned how to render in our last assignment. Once you've rendered and saved it and export it, I'd like you to export it into your computer or into your private folder in the classroom and save it as your last name and then natural sound. So for me, my file name would be Shafran Natural, or Shafran Nat Sound. Okay, that's what my file name would look like. So actually, once you've saved it, it will be saved as an MP4. Once you've finished that, I would like you to post it to where it says Unique Feature Natural Sound Project Post Assignment here. Okay? Now here's editing advice for your social media piece. Using the same raw material that you shot for the exercise above, you will create your social media piece. To do this, you have to start out by building the video first that tells your story. Okay, in the last piece we started by building the audio first. Now we build the video first. You will use at least 1 sound bite, maximum 2 for this. So the sound bites are not what carry the piece, but you can put them in there. And remember, anytime you use a sound bite, it has to be less than 15 seconds. In addition to the sound bite, I want you to put 1 or 2 natural sound pops in there. We talked about natural sound pops in the exercise above, so you can review that. Your piece, again, this piece has to be constructed at 1 minute to 1 minute 30 in length. So as you build the video and the sound bites, when you're done building that, it has to be between 1 minute and 1 minute 30. And once you've laid out this visual story with the sound bites and the natural sound, I would like you to add at least 5 or 6 sentences. You'll use the title effect to do that. And the sentences you will put over the video using that title function. This will give background to the story you're telling. It will give you the details. You want your sentences not to be too long. Get right to the point. And the sentences have to correspond with the video that they're going over in some way. Make sure the first sentence introduces the topic in some way, and make sure your last sentence gives some kind of final statement. And when it's all put together, you will need to put some instrumental music underneath it for mood. That music should carry throughout. I want you to make sure that you adjust the audio levels lower when the soundbite comes up and higher when it's just video. I do also want the natural sound from the video to be there. Make sure that this is instrumental, no vocal music. I don't want the voice of somebody singing to affect listening to the soundbite. I want to make sure that you use properly copyright-free or royalty-free music. So just go ahead and Google copyright-free music or royalty-free music, and you can find instrumental music that you can use. Try to make the mood from the music match what's going on in here. Make sure you use that pen tool when you're editing the music, so it's not too loud when the person in the soundbite is speaking. In addition to the audio, I want you also to put in 2 video transitions, no more than that. Make sure that you put a title on the person speaking, their name and title. I also want you to transcribe what the person is saying in the soundbite. You're going to have to type that out. Make sure that it's in a smaller font than you have the other titles, and put that transcriptions also in the lower third underneath of them.
Looking for volunteers.
When you're done doing all of this, I would like you to render all your effects, then save it, and then export it. Again, your last name and social media. So if I was doing this, it would be Shafran SoMed. And that's how I would save my MP4 file. Go ahead and save it, and then when I'm done saving it, I would post that piece separately where it says unique feature, social media piece, post project here. So I post that one in a separate file. Okay, that is your assignment for this week, to shoot it and edit it in 2 different versions. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Talk to you again next week.